Here we are back at the bench. What we need to do is we are going to take our project with a ruler. We need to scribe across the top of these three holes and connect them with a line so we know where to file to. So I'm just going to go right across the top of those three holes, take my pencil, scratch across. Do the same thing across the bottom. Now I know when I'm using my file, I'm going to file to that line, and those two lines. If you need to do the same thing on the back to tell if you're filing flat, go ahead and do the same thing on the back side. All right, now that our project's in the vise, we have 4 different files to choose from. Here's our 4 different files. Our first choice is called a rasp. A rasp has very, very coarse teeth. It removes a lot of material very quickly, but leaves a terrible finish. It will rip up your project. I'm going to stay away from a rasp for this project. This file is called a flat file. It has smaller teeth on it, so it removes material slower, but it gives you a nicer finish. We're going to stick with the flat file for the majority of this project. This file here is a half round file. As you can see, it's half round. This one will work good if you're trying to file to large inside curves. We are not filing any large inside curves, so we're not going to use the half round file. And the last file type, this one is a full round file. Some people call it a rat tail file because it looks like a rat's tail. Skinnier on top, smaller diameter on top, bigger diameter on bottom. Very coarse teeth, kind of like a rasp. We will only use this file if we need to file our diameters a little bit larger. Make sure nothing is behind your project as you're filing, otherwise your file will dig into it. As you can see here, previous students have filed into the table. Try to avoid that. We're going to start with, again, the flat file. Should be able to slide it right in there, and you're just going to very slowly file back and forth until you get to your line. As you're doing this and you're filing back and forth, try not to let it dig on the bottom of your circle or on top into your circle. You'll create little flat spots and it'll look terrible. So again, try your best to keep that just on those peaks. When you test fit your parts, you want them to be a snug fit. We're going to sand more material off. That will make the parts smaller and fit together easier. All right, now we're getting really close. I am to size in my width, but not in my corners. So now I'm going to take that round file and clean up the corners. I'm a little bit too wide down here on the bottom. And there we go. That slot is wide enough. Now I want to check this slot here. A little bit more snug than I want it to be. There we go. This one for now is done. All we do now is repeat. For our circle, what we're going to do is we're just going to take our flat file. We should be able to get through here. We're just going to work our way to our line. For this one, when we check it, we're just trying to push our part straight through. Now I have all three of my parts fully rough filed in. Now we're going to try to assemble it to make sure it fits together in all of our possible combinations. We shove one of our C shapes through our hole and we stop it so that it lines up flush with our top. We take our next C shape, put it over top of our oval or a circle shape just like this so that our notch will fit over our other C shape. Here's where we might run into a problem. Everything might not line up here, so we're just going to test it. If it hits, we have to see where it's hitting. Mine's hitting more on this side of this C shape, so I'm going to take a little bit off of this side. So I'm going to hang on to it to remember. This one here. Try it again. Still hitting on this side. So now I'm looking at my project. I'm noticing I should have a pretty good gap on that side, and there's a little bit of gap on that side. What's going wrong? Wah, wah, wah. I'm hitting on top, so I have to remove a little bit more out of this one. Got it in. So there, it worked in that combination. Now, I need to take it out, flip this piece end for end, and see if it still works, which it does. If it didn't work, most likely I would be good on top. I would have to file one of these two. Now I'm going to flip-flop the two C's. That side worked. Pull the C out, rotate it end for end, push it back in. That one works. We are all done with the filing. Now we go ahead and sand off all these burn marks. If you have any burn marks on your project, sand off all pencil marks that might be left, make it look nice and pretty, and we will apply some wax.